Hello, and thanks for mathing with me today. In this video, we're going to write and graph equations in point-slope form. Let's start by exploring. We know that the formula for slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's see what happens if we isolate y2 minus y1. So that means that I want to multiply both sides of the equation by x2 minus x1. So x sub 2 minus x sub 1 times our m. Remember what we do to one side of the equation, we need to do to the other. So we're multiplying both sides of the equation by x sub 2 times x sub 1. On this side of the equation, it divides out, and we're just left with y2 minus y1. So what does y2 minus y1 equal? It equals m times x2 minus x1. Now, if we erase our sub 2's, this gives us our point slope form of our equation. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 for some arbitrary point x1, comma y1. So then to write equations in point slope form, we're going to first find the slope. You're going to plug that slope into your equation, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Then you're going to pick a point to be your x sub 1, y sub 1, and you're going to plug those values in for your y sub 1 and your x sub 1 in your equation. And then remember that you're not going to distribute. Once you plug those values for m and y, x1, y1 into your equation, remember that you're going to have a y variable and an x variable that there's nothing plugged in for. You need to have an independent and a dependent variable for your linear equation. So don't distribute. This is point slope form. Let's try some examples, but before we do, let's refresh our memory what our point slope form is. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So remember what we're going to do. We're going to plug in our slope m, which is 1/6, in for m into our equation. And then we're going to plug our x value from our x sub 1 into our equation. And then we're going to plug our y, which equals 1, into our equation for y sub 1. So let's go ahead and do that. So this gives us y minus, our y value is 1, equals m, which is 1/6, times x minus our x value, and our point is 5. So this is our point slope form. Let's try another example. So in number 2, we have a slope of -4. So that means that m equals -4. And we have the point 0, 3. So 0 is our x1 and 3 is our y1. So we have y minus our y1, which is 3, equals our slope, -4, times x minus our x1 is 0. And this would be our point slope form for a line that has a slope of -4 and goes through the point 0, 3. Now it's your turn to try. Pause the video and try numbers 3 and 4. Hopefully you paused the video and maybe you got something that looked like this, but what you may have noticed is, remember when we subtract a negative number, we change it to a plus. So you could simplify each side of the equation by changing a minus negative into a plus. Additionally, in number 4, we had to calculate the slope first because we were given 2 points. When we do that, we got a slope of 1. And then we can use either point to write an equation of the line in point slope form. So both of these equations are equations of this line that has this slope and goes through these points. What if instead of information, we're given a graph? Well, we want to find the information from the graph. So just like in the previous example, we were given 2 points. We are here given 2 points, so we could calculate the slope using the slope formula, or we can use our graph to help us find the slope. So I'm going to use the graph to help us find the slope. We're going to calculate our rise over run. So we have a rise of 1, 2, and then a run of 1, 2, 3, 4. So our slope then, m equals 2 over 4, and we want to simplify that to be 1/2. Now we have our slope m, and we also have 2 points to choose from, so we're going to write an equation of the line using both points. So I'm going to first use the point 0, -1, so that gives us y minus -1, so I can write right away y plus 1 equals our slope, which is 1/2, times x minus 0. And then our other point, 4, 1, we write y minus 1 equals our slope 1/2 times x minus 4. So both of these, again, are equations of the line in point slope form. You try. Pause the video and try number 6. Write an equation of a line in point slope form. You paused the video and you found that our slope was -4 over +2, which simplifies to -2. So we have an equation for this point, -1, 3, of y minus 3 equals -2 times the quantity x plus 1. Or we could have used this point and gotten y plus 1 equals -2 times x minus 1. Next, we're going to graph when we're given an equation in point slope form. So the first step is to identify our slope, and then we would want to identify the point and plot it. And then we're going to use the slope to plot more points on the line. Once we have enough points to create a line, then we're going to connect and add arrows to the ends. So let's try some examples. So we see our equation y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 3. From this equation, we see that our slope equals 2. Our x1 is going to be 3, and our y1 is going to be 1. So now that we've identified the slope and a point, we're going to plot the point 3, 1. And then we're going to use the slope to plot more points. So we want to go up 2 over 1 with a slope of 2, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And then we can also work in reverse. If we go back 1, down 2, back 1, down 2, back 1, down 2, we see the pattern. Then we want to draw a straight line through our points and put arrows on the ends. And now we've graphed the line y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 3. Let's try another one. In number 8, we see that our slope is 3/4, and we see that our x1 is going to be a -2, and this is because x minus -2, right, is going to make x plus 2. So our -2 is our x1, and then our y1 is going to be 1. So our point is the point -2, 1. So let's go ahead and plot the point -2, 1. And then let's use our slope. We're going to go up 3 to the right 4. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 3 to the right 4. And then we can do one backwards and go back 4, down 3. Now we have our points, so we're going to go ahead and connect our points as best as we can with a line that goes straight through all of them, and draw our arrows on the end. So again, we have graphed y minus 1 equals 3/4 times the quantity x plus 2. Now it's your turn to try. Pause the video and try number 9. Hopefully you paused the video and you found the slope of -1. This one was a little bit tricky because there was just a negative sign, but remember that that just means there's a -1 there. It's not typical to write it. And then we had the point 2, -2. When we plotted that point, then we graphed down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. We have a slope of -1, connected our points, and added arrows to the end. I hope in this video you learned how to write equations and graph equations in point slope form. Thanks so much for mathing with me today.